Hey again, Russ Shaw coming at you from Industrial Park, somewhere, USA, right? Pacific Northwest. Dash cam session. Going after the dragons under behavior modification, and my metaphorical dragon of idolatry has 3 heads, and I'm ready to move on to the next head of the dragon of idolatry. To bring you up to speed, idolatry is basically a theological concept, right? It's in the Bible. It's in the 10 Commandments. The first commandment, the second commandment deal with idolatry. The great reformer, Martin Luther, said that, if you could do the first 2 commandments, the rest of them are a piece of cake, right? If you love God, and you worship God, and you don't put anything above God, you don't make an idol with your hands that you worship and serve, but you worship and serve the Creator rather than the creation, the other commandments are easy, right? You won't, because you love God, you won't steal, you won't cheat on you. All these things, these different, most of us have broken them all, right? The 10 Commandments. But that's how we pour out in worship and service towards God, is by not breaking that commandment. And it's pretty powerful. It's a pretty big one. And the head of the dragon I want to talk about today is economy. All right, this is talking in terms of economics. We are all spending our lives, all right? I'm not just talking about money here, but money is part of it. We are all given a certain job or position. We all are born in a certain country, and we have a certain job, and we make a certain amount of money, and we're to steward that well. Money's part of it, but really the time, energy that we spend, money, right? What do we spend it on? What is our life being spent on? This session, I just really want you to kind of reflect, maybe get quiet and pray and ask God, how do you want me to spend this life that you gave me? Because, if you think about it, days in economic terms, each of us has about 23 to 25,000 on average dollars to spend. If each day was $1, that's it, man. You got $23,000 to $24,000 days to spend. And what you're going to realize as you think about this, as you reflect on this, is what you put your faith in, right? Like, some of us were so pleasure-driven, and when I was totally jacked up and sexually addicted, I had this compulsive behavior, I had these compulsive thoughts, and I had a hard time seeing outside of myself. And really, there's a whole other world out there, right? There's a thing called joy that trumps happiness. Happiness is a day at the park. Joy is a week at Disneyland, all right? Joy is something else entirely different. Happiness is fleeting. Joy carries on. Joy is what Jesus is talking about. In John 10:10, he says the thief, the devil, right, comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And Jesus says, I come to bring life and to bring it more abundantly. The joy and the peace of the Lord, being in Christ. What does that mean? What are you anchored in economically, right? You are going to spend your money based on a system of faith. And I pray that, if you're not a Christian, maybe you need to do some business with God, right? Talk to Him. God isn't distant, far off, right? He's not part of the creation. He created. He sits outside of time and space. And He did, at one time, 2,000 some odd years ago, right, come down to earth as the man, as the Son, on a rescue mission for you and I, because He loves us. Are you willing to take a step of faith on that truth? Are you willing to maybe build a deeper relationship with your Creator? a different kind of prayer life, you know, where you're talking to. Maybe you pray out loud in your car or whatever. Getting time alone, getting time to spend with your Creator, with God, getting some of that precious time and energy to just be with Him, to just spend with Him, and see what happens in your heart and in your soul. You change the heart, you change the mind, and behavior changes over time, and that's true. So that's the first thing I wanted to say about killing the head of the dragon of economy is that evil thing is going to tell you that this life is it, and you got to get all the pleasure you can, and even that kind of thinking is shallow. All right? There's greater joy for you in this world and in the next, come what may, based on circumstances. The lie of the pleasure-seeking happiness movement is that, you know, life can't change with a phone call. There's not one of you listening whose whole life can be turned upside down by a phone call. Life is so fragile. Circumstances come and go. Storms come and go. Times of pleasure and you know, times of prosperity, those are good and those are awesome, but usually they don't last our whole life. So what is your system? What's your economy? And are you willing to go after that dragon with a sword in hand when it starts to tell you lies about how you're spending your days? Remember, you know, that's just very true. Change the heart, change the mind, and that changes behavior over time.